Welcome to Let's Bet, the show for folks who love betting on sports but hate losing money. I'll show you how to increase your sports betting bankroll by gaining confidence so that ultimately you can have the lifestyle that you deserve. I'm your host, Scott Pritchard, full-time professional sports bettor, 32 years, founder of PritchardsPicks.com, home of Pritchard's Pick of the Day. Took third place in the Circa Invitational a year ago, was asked back this year, took sixth place, a half game out of third place. Every weekend you can catch me in the Las Vegas Review Journal. You can reach out to us. I would say email us at letsbet@PritchardsPicks.com. That's letsbet@PritchardsPicks.com. We broadcast live and worldwide each and every Friday, 1 to 1:30 Las Vegas time, Sin City. Been here for 32 years. Man, oh man, it's like I blinked and here it is 32 years later. Are you kidding me? We broadcast live on demand on PritchardsPicks.com and on your favorite podcast and video distribution platforms. I am excited. I am pumped. You asked for it. You got it. Royalty in the house. Alex White. She is a pro handicapper, pro bettor. She's young. She's hot. She's beautiful. And she knows what she's talking about. What I can do, she can do better. I mentioned I took third place in the Circa Invitational last year. They increased the field to 25, and Alex White took second. Outstanding. She also won in 2022, the Last Man Standing contest at Stations Sportsbook, net winning six figures. Alex, welcome to the show.
Scott, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. You've had a lot of very respected sports bettors here, so it's an honor.
Well, I'm happy to have you here. You're slammed. You're busy doing your own podcast. I believe it's called Sports by the Number. It's you and your father, Kenny. And I'm a big fan of both. So let's talk about your podcast.
So Sports by the Book, we're at South Point Studio. And we did bring in my dad, Kenny White, this year. So he does 3 days a week with me, Monday through Wednesday at 9 a.m. And then on the weekends, Jeff Parles and myself go Saturday, Sunday. But the show is 7 days a week. So there, you can always find two people there at the desk.
I love my studio, but the fine folks at South Point, I'm a big fan of Chris Andrews and Vinny Vaccaro and who
Jimmy.
else? Yeah, Jimmy. Yeah,
Jimmy,
so
Vinny,
yeah, Jimmy, and then of course Vinny.
Yep.
Yeah, so everyone there is world class for sure. They've been around for a long time. How do you like working out of that studio?
Absolutely love it, and I owe a lot to them because I've been trying to get into this for quite some time. And last year they had hired Jeff Parles. They were trying to get this thing started and had me go in and do a practice run with him and hired me on the spot. So it's been an amazing experience. I absolutely love it there. And yeah, now I know this is what I really want to do.
We met because we both competed in the Golden Nugget contest. I was fortunate to take third place this year after taking sixth place a year ago. But I would run into you occasionally at the TV studio at VEASAN, Friday Night Football Invitational. Matt Humans, great guy, great friend. And you were always one of the most popular. You're a lot prettier than me. You were always one of the most popular guests on that show. But I want to talk specifically about your mindset when it comes to sports betting. Do you have a specific strategy?
So, yep, I learned from my dad, Kenny White, and he learned from his dad, Pete White. So kind of third generation sports bettor here. And it's all about the foundation for us. And it's having a power rating for each team, right? And then I make my own numbers every week. And then I compare them to the betting line that comes out. So for contests, I would go through the list, and I really like college football. So I didn't really start using NFL until the end of the year for the contest. It was mostly college football, but go through the sheet and kind of circle the biggest differences. And then from there, especially for contest or your shows talking about the picks that you like, you're diving in, right, and finding reasons why you're going to bet that or why you are not going to bet that. And if you're looking at overs, you know, and both teams are better offensively than defensively, things that just match up with your number. So that's really the philosophy, and just sticking to the process. So far, so good. It's been working out.
So far, so good. I mean, you're world class and kicking ass. So I'm a big fan of you from a sports betting standpoint, but more importantly than that, you're a very kind, humble, polite person. And I know your dad, Kenny, is very proud of you, but you talk about generational and a family affair, starting with your granddad, with Pete, an icon in this town. Kenny, he's been involved in sports books long before it was legal at 21. He's hanging out at age 16, and he's been well respected for a long time. And now you making a name for yourself as a independent critical thinker. So you have my respect. And, you know, professional sports bettors hang out with other professional sports bettors. And I'm telling you, friend to friend, you have everyone's attention and you have everyone's respect.
I appreciate that. I put in a lot of work, and that's part of the reason why I love it so much. It's a grind, right? And you just want to get as much knowledge and information as you can all the time. And sometimes it can be, you don't want too much, right? You want to overthink it. But yeah, I really am enjoying it, and I appreciate those kind words.
Well, something that I do, because you know, from August, September until the Super Bowl, it's almost always lucrative or almost always profitable, but it is a mind grind.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to get away, chill, decompress. I go to Thailand right after the Super Bowl. This year I'm going to LA to see the Clippers play the Memphis Grizzlies at the Intuit Dome. I've already been there. It's a $2 billion resort. It's really cool, the arena. Next day, I'm off to Thailand for a couple of months to chill, decompress, relax. Of course, they play the Star Spangled Banner every day, Alex, and I have action every day. So I'll still do what I do, but I'll be doing it while I'm getting 1 to 2 massages a day. My question for you is, what do you do to chill, relax, decompress, maybe clear your head and get away from it?
Same type of thing, really just taking a weekend or a week if I can off. But I've really tried to just narrow it down and have certain sports, but be able to have it at least one throughout the entire year, right? But I know my dad, I mean, he's one of the best, and I don't think I can ever do what he does, and he covers every sport. So, and he told me that a long time ago. He's like, pick what you're really good at. That it was his like first advice to me, instead of trying to cover all of them. And I think that's what you're saying too. You love football, you dive in with football, and then you get a little bit of a break. I'm sure then you jump in with baseball when you get back.
Well, and one of the things that drew me to you when I saw you on TV was we had something in common. I love betting WNBA basketball, specifically totals. What do you find advantageous about betting WNBA?
Well, first of all, if people are jumping in and they want to make their own power ratings and adjust numbers, I think it's a great sport to start with because it's only 12 teams now. It's expanding, of course, and it's going to continue to expand. But jump in now. You can learn each player very well, right? And have a good power rating per player, per team, and have a really good feel for that league. So that's one thing I really like about it. But you do have to be careful because sharps are already on it, and those numbers move really quick. So you got to make your numbers quick and be ready to bet early.
And betting early and often certainly beats betting late. And CLV, closing line value, I'm a big proponent of. Yep. Are you a big proponent of CLV, closing line value?
Absolutely, especially when it goes your way, right? And you do have that good closing line value. You won't win every time. That's not a guaranteed win. But if you continue to do that and you can see 75% of the time your numbers are correct and it's going that way, you will win over time.
Alex White, my guest on Let's Bet. We broadcast live and worldwide each and every Friday. I want to talk sports betting philosophy, Pritchard's philosophy. I've got one ticket, one time. You know, I did my sports betting seminar here in Las Vegas in August, live studio audience, broadcast live online as well. And one of the questions from the studio audience was, who's going to the Super Bowl? I've got the audio evidence, the video evidence, and I will not let you forget because I felt the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that had to go on the road last year, and Mahomes had his worst season statistically. I said I felt they have the inside track to get back to the Super Bowl. And I liked a team in the NFC, and it was not the favorite, the Niners. It was definitely not Dan Gamble and the overrated, overhyped, gunslinging, low risk, actually high risk, low reward, Dan Gamble-led Lions. It was the Philadelphia Eagles, a team in July wasn't even favored to win their division. By opening weekend, they were a small favorite to win their division. But I said at that time it would be KC versus the Eagles. And because I have a big mouth, I have to bet some big money because ultimately I like putting my money where my mouth is. This is the exacta ticket. I also prefaced the Chiefs would get to the Super Bowl as the number 1 seed after their first 5 games. The first 5 games has to do with the fact that they had a murderous schedule, but they came out unblemished, untied, 5-0. instead of betting the Chiefs at +2 to 1, 3 to 1 to win the AFC, I wanted to do an exacta at a big fat number, at a big fat return, because I'm a big fat guy. The key is, which team are they going to play in the Super Bowl? And true to my point, I liked Philly. 55 to 1 odds exacta, $1, $2, $3, $4,000 on the Chiefs to beat the Eagles to net win $220,000 to get back $224,000. So today's word of the day, hedge, HEDGE. And I wish I would have talked to Alex a few short weeks ago, because she mentioned to me right before we went live that she has an exacta, Eagles to beat the Chiefs 17 to 1 right before the playoffs. Good job.
Thank you. Yeah, I saw that. It was actually at South Point. They had put up some exactas right before Wild Card Weekend, and I wanted to jump in. But 55 to 1 before, or 5 weeks after the season started, is very impressive. I'm not quite there. I needed to see which teams were in the playoffs, but I love that you knew the Eagles, because those other two were definitely, we knew the Niners with all their injuries, it was going to be tough to overcome that. And the Lions, they still have a big hurdle to get over. The Eagles were just there 2 years ago. So very good on that.
Well, I appreciate that. And to your point, history has a way of repeating itself. And as you said, they just played 2 short years ago. The Eagles came back with a favorable non-division schedule. And you and I both knew early and often that the Cowboys were overrated. I will say Washington, even though I was on them in the preseason, they did surprise me during the course of the season. What say you?
Oh, definitely surprised me. I think everybody with the rookie quarterback and Jaden Danielson, they were very impressive. And Dan Quinn has done a very good job there. But I'm excited about the matchup that we do have. I am happy to be holding a ticket. I know you are very happy to be holding that ticket. But hedge is a very good word. And I'm glad that you help and teach everybody these things. But I love futures, and I love being in this situation, so you're guaranteed money.
I like that, because a lot of times there's a perception out there that future bets are sucker bets. But to your point, it only takes one place to have a soft number or a bad number. This was the absolute best exacta number anywhere, whether it be the islands or in town. And the thing I love about South Point and the thing I love about Circa, they're 2 of the 3 places in town that will actually respectfully take a bet.
Yeah. They are. And I think it's pretty well known at this point, and people know about the other places that will cut you off.
Right. Cut you off if you're an advantage player. I always laugh, Alex, when they say, okay, gamble responsibly. Are you kidding me? I'm very responsible. They don't want you to be too responsible. They don't want you to be too sharp. Oh, he's too responsible. We're going to limit him. We're going to reject 30% of his plays. But again, a good bet is a good bet is a good bet. I want to talk to you about what you enjoy most about sports betting.
Well, besides the obvious of winning, I would say, and I kind of brought it up earlier, but really the grind and just having something, it's almost like an unachievable goal that we're all going for, right? Because it's kind of like baseball, where you hit 3 for 10, you're good. 4 for 10, you're outstanding. Same thing goes for sports betting, and we're all chasing being better than 55% all the time, right? But I also love that you learn every day something new, and you talk to other people, and you can constantly get better at this job that you're doing, and then you can see the effects of it almost immediately. Most jobs, it takes a couple years to get a promotion and feel good about what you're doing, where we can enter a contest, know that our work is paying off, and you get rewarded. So, back to the grind, though. I really do enjoy it, and I love having sports on all the time. I love that being a part of my job, and just love sports in general.
Well, you have my utmost respect, because it's a dog-eat-dog, cutthroat business dominated by men for centuries, decades, and you and my friend Kelly in Vegas are 2 females, 5-star, rock star, superstar sports bettors who put your money where your mouth is. But you also teach, train, and explain. And I've listened to you countless times. You're very, very sharp, and I know you're very humble. You give credit to your grandfather, Pete. You give credit to Ken. And Ken, he's loved and revered and respected by everybody. And in this business, that's hard. I know, as the founder of Pritchard'sPicks.com, and I'm sure you can relate, I'll give out 7 plays, ATS against the number, 5 and 2, world class. But people are saying, I wouldn't follow you to the buffet. What's with the 2 losses?
Yeah, exactly. No, that's how this world works, right? Or you have a bad week, and sports betting's a roller coaster. You can go on a really hot streak, and it kind of happened to me in the contest. I slipped down quite a ways, and then the last 4 or 5 weeks, I really bumped back up there. But it happens, and it's a tough business to be in, but I absolutely love it.
I like the fact that you kind of specialize in college football. In the contest, I generally lean on college only because you have 70, 80 games to choose from, as opposed to 15 to 16 games for NFL. And then sometimes we're pigeonholed and handcuffed and forced to only do NFL. I love NFL, but it is such a tight market. I don't really want to go all in on an NFL game because I know the lines are so sharp and so tight. But I will, to your point, as an advantage player, as a sharp, if you can beat CLV, closing line value, knowing that you're getting a half point and half the best of it, there are 272 NFL games.
Yeah.
And if you can just get a half point, the best of it, that's 136 free points. That's significant. Now, if you parlay that into totals, a la college football, where you have more disparity, do you prefer sides, totals, money lines?
I like both. I really do. Sides and totals. Kind of just depends. But to your point, NFL, I mean, doing these contests really shows you how important closing line value is, because when you are stuck making your picks on Friday and you have that number that they give you, you know, it's really hard to beat compared to if you bet early and you do get a better number in those. But with college, I do really like, and the more I get into this, I mean, the situational spots are so important, and the look aheads and the letdowns and all of that you have to factor in too. And it's like 75% number and 25% of all those intangibles, and you have to really be paying attention. And I mean, they're college kids. Like, you can kind of figure those spots out and have a little bit of an advantage there too.
Why do you think most people who bet on sports lose?
I think it'd be a chase thing, if anything, kind of like doubling up, trying to get their money back. That would be one. The other thing, maybe just not gathering enough, or, you know, if I wasn't doing this full time, I don't know if I could confidently say that I would be able to win and have a winning record, right? So it takes a lot of time. I think that kind of falls into it as well. What is your opinion on it?
Well, I actually agree with you. And to your point, I do this 24/7, and it's extremely challenging. Now, it is profitable. It is potentially lucrative, and it's been I'm very happy. It provides a great lifestyle. I've been doing it full time for 32 years. And I feel one of the reasons, well, the house's edge, the reason the house wins, as you know, the VIG, the juice, the tax, meaning you have to be right 52.4% of the time to break even. That means you have to be right 11 times out of 21 to break even. And you are world class because you know 55% is world class. The biggest, baddest sports bettor on the planet, living legend, Billy Walters, 55% betting 6 figures a game. So he speaks, the whole world listens. I think he's 77, 78, super young. My good friend, mentor, Jim Feist, just left the studio about an hour before you got here promoting me and my ticket, which was super nice. But he's a big fan of you and wants to have you on his podcast as well. So please keep that in mind. I know Kenny, your dad, I just saw him a week ago Thursday. I was on Feist's show yesterday at Don DeMarco Pizza. Tommy is the host. He's awesome. Al, the owner, Al's brother Michael, those are five-star, rock star, superstar people. And again, just the camaraderie and the fellowship. We're talking to Alex White, pro bettor, pro handicapper, winner of the 2022 Last Man Standing contest, net won over 6 figures, and took second place in the invite only, the Circa Invitational. My sphere of influence, I've been doing this for 32 years on a full-time basis, and here she is in her early 20s, world class. So I'm a big fan. We're going to come back with best bets right after this.
First of all, I want to thank Scott Pritchard for having me on Let's Bet. I enjoyed it immensely being here. Scott's a quality guy, a really good guy, good friend, and a great handicapper. I am Jim Feist, jimfeist.com, Proline TV on YouTube. I'm not here to sell you anything, but I'm here to sell you one thing. Scott knows what he's talking about. He talks about EV, positive EV. That's expected value. He knows that it's not the name of the team. It's the number that you're going after. Listen to this man. He knows how to make you money. Believe me, I've been around for 250 years. No, I'm just kidding. But he knows how to win, and I know people like Scott, they win by looking at the number, not the team. He's a pro. Let's bet.
What I can do, Jim Feist can do better. I've been doing this at the highest level for the past 32 years. Feist has been doing it for 55 years. Are you kidding me? 55 years from now, are you still going to be doing this, Alex?
Yes, I am.
I'm not surprised. This is who you are. Let's talk best bets, Super Bowl, or if you have a college basketball play or something going on for this weekend, or NBA, but maybe hone in on the Super Bowl if you have a prop. I've oftentimes said, and I'm sure you would probably agree, that the point spread, the total, the side, oftentimes it's one game, 2-week window. There are easier things to bet. WNBA total, preseason football. I love preseason football. First teamers versus third teamers. A team that's trying to sell tickets and they have a new coach trying to prove something, and a quarterback controversy. If you have 3 quarterbacks vying for that number 1 spot and another team that has nothing to prove. But the Super Bowl, one game, one time, 2-week window. There are no secrets, and you're laying 11 to win 10. Good luck. But so many ways to bet this game, a la props. Have you pinpointed anything in terms of value?
A couple good props that I like right now. Well, I think they are good props, so we'll see how they go. But Dallas Goedert, I like over his receptions. I got over 4.5 at -120. That was at the Superbook. We've kind of been talking about it. I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and I've been talking about it on my show. But Kansas City has not been good with tight ends, right? They've given up the most receiving yards to tight ends throughout the season. So we know that he is the guy for Jalen Hurts, and I think they will go to him often. On the other side, and I might wait on this one, which is unusual because usually you want to take overs early, right? Especially for the Super Bowl, because people are coming in and they're betting overs. And if you want to get good unders, you wait till the last day and then you go in and bet the unders. But Isaiah Pacheco, I know he has not been the same guy since he's come back from his injury, but now an extra 2 weeks off, I'm going to be looking for his carries because he was their guy the last 2 Super Bowls, and he had 15 and 18, and it's sitting there like 5.5. We're getting a great number because, of course, he is sharing with Kareem Hunt now, but I still think they're going to go to him, and they are going to try to establish their run game. This Eagles defense is really good, especially their secondary. So they got to get their run game going. Patrick Mahomes over rushing yards or rushing attempts may be a good bet as well. And then lastly, I did go with field goals over 3.5 at +120. So that one I did already bet in pocket as well.
I like what you say, and would you agree that the value oftentimes is picking your spots, spotting your picks when it comes to props as opposed to the side total or money line?
Yes, I would, especially because the Chiefs 1.5 point favorite has not really moved. I think that's a pretty good number. I actually made the Eagles a 1 point favorite, and that wasn't because of the bet. That's just where my power ratings were. And if you go position by position, I don't think a lot of people would argue that the Eagles are a little better in most. But of course, the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes. So you have to decide how much the quarterback position really means. And we're seeing that in football these days, it's more and more. So I can understand them being the favorite. But that's a very tough spot to bet. The total seems a little high, and I see that there is money coming in on the under. But if you don't want to do that, what do you think about the same game teaser bet that came in last year, and it didn't matter if you went over or under? I think that could work out again for us this year.
Well, to your point, because these lines are so sharp, oftentimes with the teaser, it doesn't matter on the side or the total, you win because it's within 6 or 12 points one way or the other.
Very true. So that's actually kind of a hats off to the odds makers.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I respect you. I respect myself as far as what we do, but make no mistake about it, I respect the odds makers. Their job is much more challenging than ours. Again, I'm a cherry picker. I spot my picks, pick my spots, try not to pick my nose. But they have to post a side total money line on a myriad of games.
Oh my God.
So their job, respectfully, is a lot tougher than yours and mine. We're talking best bets with Alex White. I do have some opinions. I'm going to share with you some celebrity guest prop bets in addition to what Alex just shared. Jim Feist likes the Kansas City Chiefs on a small money line. Tony, the Great Gordon, what a great guy. Family man. His son is a prodigy when it comes to baseball, but Tony won the Circa Millions, net won over $1 million to make it holla, and then he took second place in the Circa Invitational. Last year, I know this because I took third. What I can do, Tony Gordon can do better. In fact, what I can do, everybody else, it seems, can do better. But I think it's back to what Warren Buffett says. Your net worth is determined by your network. So I'm hanging with some top 5 rock star, superstar people. Now, let's talk about, we mentioned Feist, we mentioned Tony the Great Gordon. He's going with Barkley, the stud running back for the Eagles. We know, to Alex's point, that the Eagles defensively are very solid, but no one's been able to effectively run against the Chiefs the entire season. And as much respect as I have for Barkley, he's playing into the strength. They're playing into the strength of that front defensive front of the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think, per Tony Gordon's point, he likes over 1.5 receptions for Barkley, minus $1.65. It's probably gone up, as it often does, as we give out these plays. Fezzik gave out some plays, one of which was Kansas City team total over 24.5. So my prediction for the game, 27-24, Kansas City. I'm going with the Chiefs. I respect the Eagles. I'm going with the Chiefs because I love duplicatable winning formulas. I like great leaders. Andy Reid, Mr. Stoic, he is world class. He's a great X's and O's coach. I can prove it. The Super Bowl 2 years ago, they were down 24-14 at halftime. But because of his in-game adjustments, he's done it for years. He did it at Philly. He's done it in KC. People forget the Chiefs only had 2 wins when Reid came to town. Now they've played in 7 consecutive AFC Conference Championships games. They're going for another Super Bowl win. So I look at Reid, I look at Mahomes, I look at Kelsey. These guys are proven. They know what it takes, and no one talks enough about the KC defense. And one last thing I'll say, Alex and I, we talk about how we respect the odds makers. Well, the odds makers are making this as close to a coin toss as possible, as KC is now a 1.5 to 1 point favorite. I have to tell you, history has a way of repeating itself. So they're telling you it's going to be a close game. If it's going to coin toss, it means it's a 1-score game. What does that mean in English? I'm glad you asked. It means that the Chiefs are 17-0 in 1-score games. You never bet on a streak to end. Why? Because you can only lose one time. I went to the Super Bowl a year ago, paid $9,300 for my ticket, had a blast. It was the absolute one of the best days of my life, and I've had many. I've been to 7 Super Bowls. It was so much fun. Free football. I only paid for 4 quarters. It went an extra period. I got free football. Loving it. Kansas City won. Winner, steak and lobster dinner. As we wrap things up, my friend, how can people find you?
So my social media handle is Alex White with 2 E's on White. And then also YouTube. If you search Sports by the Book, you will find our podcast there.
I love it. Alex White, my guest, the winner of the 2022 Last Man Standing Stations Contest. My last question for you is, what was that experience like? Was it emotionally draining? How competitive and challenging was it? Congratulations on net winning 6 figures.
Thank you so much. It was more fun than stressful, I would say. But man, the last month was very stressful knowing that you were getting down to the very end. And I will tell you, I won the last game by the hook. I took Auburn plus 21.5 against Alabama, and they lost by 21. So if that doesn't sum up sports betting for you, then I don't know what does. But it was a great experience, and I love that contest that Stations puts on every year.
Dr. Hook, you won by the hook. But again, that's a key number, 3 touchdowns,
That's
21.5 compared to 21. We know that 18% of all pro football games are decided by 3, followed by 7, 6, 10, 14. And I'm a big totals guy, so I know 37 is key in college and pro because there are 10 ways to get there. I say that because if you like under 37.5 and there's only one left, everyone else has 37, and now you see it start to go to 36.5. Steal, take, extort, take that 37.5. Numbers and value mean a lot more than teams. Alex, love you. Keep doing what you're doing. It's working. And thanks for being on the show.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me.
Alex White, the winner, the champion of the 2022 Last Man Standing Stations Contest, net won over 100,000, took second place in the invite-only world-class and kicking ass, the Circa Invitational. She'll certainly be asked back to compete next year. Reach out to us. A friendly reminder, it's Let's Bet at Pritchard'sPicks.com. That's Let's Bet at Pritchard'sPicks.com. Wish me luck. Per Jim Feist, per Steve Fezzik, Alex White, everyone's advised me what to do on this ticket. $4,000 to net win, $220 to get back $224, 55-1 the exacta. I'm taking the Eagles. I already have them at +2, reduced vig. I bet it right after the game. But my friend Alex, 17-1 exacta on the Eagles to beat the Chiefs. So it's an exciting time until next weekend. Hey, by the way, I can't wait. Next weekend, you were very kind to mention that I've had some outstanding guests on this show. Next week, Matt St. Marie from Minneapolis. He won the Circa Millions recently. Net won over $1 million. We're going to pick his brain much like we picked Alex's brain today. So until next weekend, see the cashier.